Copa America 2015 takes off this Friday. I just like saying Copa America. Did I say it right?
Copa America.
No, it sounds so much better when you say it. And it sounds better when you're wearing an Argentina top. So the troublesome trio, I just named as that, Jason Rubin, Terence Lane, and Francis Maxwell here to discuss the tournament that's coming up in 2015. And we want to talk about the games that's coming up, but most importantly, the players who are going to play. And I think, as I said to you before, is that the 2014 World Cup was enough advertising for this Copa America, because the most attractive teams to watch, in my perspective, came from the Copa America there who are going to play in this. You've got Chile, who are amazing to watch. You've got Colombia, one of the most exciting counter-attacking teams with some of the best players. So I think that acted as a very good form of self-promotion for the Copa America, and I can't wait to watch it with all these teams playing. So we broke it down to who, I think it was a Bleacher Report who said the top 10.
Yeah, this is Bleacher Report's
Bleacher
list.
Report's top 10 players to look out for in the Copa America. And we know most of them, but I want to throw it here so that we can give our gut reaction on who we're talking about. So number 10, as you guys know, Uruguayan Stonewall defender who plays for Atletico Madrid. Diego Godin is going to be fantastic for Uruguay and instrumental with the Great White Suarez not going to be playing in the Copa America, who's still out for a ban.
Is that a Jaws reference?
Did you pick it up?
Yeah.
All right,
I got it. Great movie.
I was checking.
Yeah.
I was double checking. So number 10, Diego Godin. Number 9, another defender who has got somewhat a redemption quest, I think, after being suspended for their game against Germany, in which they got demolished. Thiago Silva at 9. I think that Javier Mascherano, if this is top 10 players to look out for, then yes, but top 10 players for the tournament, Javier Mascherano needs to be at like 4 or 5 for me, because he is so
crucial.
It's crucial. That's the word I was looking for Argentina. And he was crucial in the World Cup, especially keeping most teams at bay. They had an unbelievable defensive record throughout the World Cup. So he, for me, needs to be down at 4 or 3. But if it's in top 10 players to watch, he's not the most, he doesn't get the most flair.
He's not the most exciting. Defenders never really get
they never get the credit, right?
You know?
We never get the credit.
He certainly should be ahead of Di Maria.
Well, yes.
I agree with that.
Yes, Di Maria plays with Messi, and of course that's going to change a lot of how he looks on the pitch. Mascherano should be ahead of Di Maria.
Yeah,
I said it.
I agree with it. It's not like a big controversial
that bold?
statement. Like, I said it. Right, people are going to get upset. I think Di Maria, based on how there was a point during the season he was playing okay with Manchester United, doing pretty well, and then he played in a friendly when Argentina faced Germany again, and he was unbelievable because he plays. What we want to talk about is how different they play with their national teams compared to how to play with their club teams. Di Maria, in that Premier League environment, it's a very fast-paced game. He's hunted. Basically, people are coming out to get him to make sure that he's pressured because he doesn't adapt as well as he has done in La Liga or other leagues. But when he plays with Argentina, he's got a lot more freedom. The pressure's on Messi. The pressure's on Agero. Di Maria can just kind of play his own game, and he gets a lot of the ball in that team, and his job is to distribute. It's not as much to score. Whereas in Manchester United, I think he set that standard for himself where he scored a lot of goals to start with. People were expecting him to come up with goals and kind of more attractive style of football, but he's good at providing.
And one will contribute to the other.
Yes.
His experience at that high pressure environment in the Premier League and translating over into the international level is going to be really key for him. And it's always that question of how does it translate?
Yeah.
Per player, per team. Like you said, the pressure is on Messi. We've seen in the past, up until this last World Cup, Messi really hadn't been able to carry the weight of the team and the country on his shoulders, and he really was able to step up this last World Cup. Germany was just too good.
And Di Maria will want to maybe prove that he was that missing piece and take the Copa America home for them, because he didn't play in the World Cup final. So if he does feature throughout this tournament, he'll want to prove that he's the man to help Argentina over that final hurdle. And I think for me, they're my favourites to win it, I think, in this competition. I fancy them to win it throughout, but we'll touch on
statement.
that. It's really bold, right?
They have something to prove, you know. They want to take home a trophy at least.
Show.
There's not enough room in Messi's house for his trophies.
Well, come on, he's on a run. He's on a run.
Right.
Might as well get the cup.
Put them in the garage.
Something just to stick to Ronaldo as well. Be like, you can't win this trophy. There's no way you can win it, so I've won it. Add that to my accolades. There's nothing you can do. The other person who was on the list there at number 6 is Arturo Vidal, another player who's so crucial to Chile's performance, and as much as his haircut is something to be questioned. Someone commented that he likes his haircut and then quoted Taylor Swift, "Haters gonna hate." I did read that comment.
Well, it's both bad and good. One, he mentioned Taylor Swift. That's fantastic. Love Taylor Swift. Bad, if you like that haircut, you have no sense of what a hairstyle should look like. Like I said when we did the Champions League clip, he looked in the mirror and was like, I look great.
I look great. Well, I mean, there's hairstyle and then there's footballer's hairstyle.
Yes, true.
So, I mean, on the scale of footballer hairstyle,
But somewhere in the middle. Like, I've
about-
seen crazier.
Something about
Yeah,
Chile's
true.
team has got
Crazier.
team has got that kind of gym douchey look about them. They're all kind of like buff, and they've all got like shaved heads and tattoos. And I'm like, okay, they're somewhat intimidating. Don't get me wrong.
They're
hunt.
Yeah, they
definitely
do. They do have that
the
look.
deadlift screamers in the gym. They're the ones who scream while they
Lightweight,
deadlift.
lightweight. I can see them before the game just screaming at each other.
I'm not sure what that sounds like. Can you give me an example?
I will not be giving an example to that.
So let's go into the top 5 because we've got down now. So who has made our top 5 list? So standard: Sergio Agero, Alexis Sanchez, James Rodriguez, Neymar, and Lionel Messi. So Sergio Agero, again, another player who struggled with his fitness for the World Cup, will want to prove to his Argentinian loyals that he is their primary goal scorer. And I think with coming off the back of that loss, as you mentioned there, Tenris, I think they'll want to win. Obviously, everyone wants to win, but this tournament sometimes is overlooked, I have to say. But it's essential for a team like Argentina, who want to be considered the best team in Latin America, with the likes of Colombia, who are now up there at the top of the world rankings. And they are considered to be a team to watch. And for me, I love watching Colombia.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I predict a Colombia-Argentina final.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah,
Nice.
I would love to see that final.
I wanted them to be the underdogs in the World Cup, but again, I just think that against Brazil, some people claim that referees through whatever influenced the game in the home nation, whatever. I just think that Colombia, they didn't have the experience at that point. They've got such a good dynamic in their team, but they're still a little young, I think.
Well, now they're bringing back some experience in Falcao.
Oh, yeah, and a new haircut.
And a new
He's got a new haircut. Well, it released all that dead weight from the Premier
I haven't
League.
seen it.
He
Oh, yeah,
shaved it.
you know. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he shaved
You
it
got to
off.
let it go sometimes.
Especially
you
after
know?
that season, I would.
Yeah.
I need.
Yeah.
If I was him, I would need a cleansing process.
My curiosity lies with James Rodriguez because he was brilliant in the 2014 World Cup,
Yeah.
and now it becomes a matter of consistency. And again, playing on that stage for your country, no pressure.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
at all. And he was also very emotional when they lost. And I fail on this one for forgetting to who in the World Cup, to Brazil in the round of 8.
Yeah, David Luiz's free kick.
Yeah.
They went
Yes.
in, I remember.
Very emotional game for him. I don't think he's out to prove anything. I think he's just out there to try to be the leader, and he's young.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a part of Colombia's team for a long time coming. But this is the start, and that's the fun part about something like the Copa America. Is we just had the World Cup. Now we get to see James back in action, and Colombia on top of the rankings.
With Falcao coming back, it'll be interesting to see how they work together after James
He can't get
basically
anymore.
taking control of the World Cup. But I said, again, there's plenty of players out there who have been awful for their club team. Bentner is one player who played with Arsenal, but then when he plays up top, he's an unbelievable striker for his
And
national
vice
team.
versa, this doesn't apply, but Diego Costa,
didn't
during
play
the
as
World
well.
Cup, was disappeared, came back, and for the first half of the Premier League season, looked unstoppable.
It's a completely different dynamic, and it's interesting. I would love to have be a fly on the wall and maybe listen in how it works on the other side of it. Like Neymar talking to his Brazilian teammates. Do you think he's telling them, if there is any, Lionel Messi's weak points? If you tackle him on this side, you're more likely to get the ball from it. There's nothing you can do to stop Messi, but there is some things that maybe he's telling his teammates, little tricks of the trade, to maybe, because he's found this out through his time at Barcelona.
It's interesting to consider sports psychology, and there's so many different dynamics, who you're playing with, especially for someone like Neymar. Look at what happened to him during the World Cup.
Yeah.
The weight of the country was on his shoulders.
Yeah.
The weight of the team was on his shoulders, and literally he broke his back.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's so many different things that go into the dynamic of playing on any club, on any team, especially at the international level. If you do not have a healthy relationship with your coach, you can absolutely guarantee that's going to translate to the pitch.
Yeah.
And maybe you're able as a player to use it as motivation.
Yeah.
But I think that it's important to establish, especially if you're going to be one of those top 10 players in the tournament in Copa America, you better have a solid relationship not only with your manager, but with the 10 players that are going to be playing alongside you. And someone like Falcao, he might not be at the top of his game, and it's really hard to recover from big huge reconstructions like
Yes.
he's had to undergo. It's a confidence thing. It's not just a technical thing. It's not just a physical thing.
It's
If you are not playing confident, or if you're not confident, it shows in your game.
Mm-hmm.
So, but just having him as an experienced veteran return, and he's going to make contributions however he does.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be huge for a player like Rodriguez.
Yeah, and you were saying about Neymar, which I wanted to touch on. Is there a couple of things? Neymar in the World Cup, even though it was just a year ago compared to Neymar now, there's already been so much growth in his game. I think that he's been, obviously Messi is the main person to talk about this season, but for me, for someone who's encompassed a role in Barcelona, maybe just as good as Lionel Messi has, is Neymar. And I think that he's been a standout performer for me throughout the season. His finishing has been sublime. He has contributed goals when Lionel Messi has went through small little dry spells and just been on the contributing side. Neymar's been the man who's been there to provide goals.
I think that's where that relationship is so unique and beautiful to watch. I think that any football fan loves it. I think this is also going to be something that we're going to see a big difference in Neymar's game when he plays at the international level. He does not have Messi playing with him, setting him up on the multitude of occasions that he does regularly with Barcelona.
But also he doesn't have Fred this time around, who was awful in the World Cup. So I don't have anyone to hate on.
Comment of the year was Fred is the dad bod of football. Somebody left that in the comment.
I mean, and there was that story that came out. We're not sure. We looked into it. It didn't get any more substance on it. That Brazil were, now it kind of makes sense with all the bribes that are going on, but Brazil actually were being told who or who not to play based on who was more marketable to the country, because Fred was like a hometown hero because he played his football in Brazil. And people were wondering, why is this guy consistently starting? Like, the only contribution he made is that he had the over-dramatic flop at the start of the very first game to get himself a penalty to take him through. That's the only thing that I noticed that he contributed.
That was such a disappointing first match.
Yeah, and him as well was just a player that I was like, you know, you've just got all your friends and you're all really good, and you bring along that one guy who just enjoys the game, Jason, who wants to just come along and contribute. He's like, come on, little buddy, we can pass it to you, show me what you can do. That's what he was like. But now Neymar, I'm guessing, I think that the pressure is still going to be fully on him, but he has got some contributors around him who have advanced their game as well. I think Willian had an unbelievable season for Chelsea along with Oscar. He's going to have players around him who can help, but at the same time... Oh, Oscar's out, exactly.
Yeah.
Good point there, good thinking. So Oscar's out, so maybe he has got just as much pressure on him, but who knows? It's going to be an interesting competition. The last person that I didn't want to forget on that list was Alexis Sanchez, who we just mentioned.
Talk about him?
Yeah, another person who had a frightening season for Arsenal, it must be said, which was topped off by a beautiful finish in the FA Cup final from a set piece. And I think that just as much as Neymar is to Brazil and Messi is to Argentina, Chileans are fully confident in saying that Alexis Sanchez is up there with those types of players, and I have to agree. Based on his season. And a good haircut.
And a very good haircut.
And
pretty tame.
Yeah.
Pretty tame.
It's under control.
He's going to get more. I think he'll get some lines in there just for the World Cup. I could just see them all going to the bar.
Who's bleaching their hair?
I don't know who's going to do it this time.
Neymar?
Because they're
Neymar for sure.
Oh yeah, Neymar's doing it. But they're the host nation this time, Chile, so they'll want to... They'll want to kind of set a standard. Maybe they'll do red streaks.
Do you guys see them in the final?
I mean, you can never really underestimate the power of a host nation, right? Especially even when Brazil were playing so bad at some games during the World Cup, it seemed like that 12th man of their fans were guiding them through. For me, if Argentina are out to win it, I think they'll win it, and I could see someone like Colombia go. I would love to see an Argentina-Brazil final, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, we all do.
We all want to see that. That was something that people talked about in the World Cup, but when you have the Germans around, it messes things up.
Alexis Sanchez is just such a brilliant player to watch. He's so consistent. He's going to contribute to the host nation so solidly, and I really enjoy watching his finishing prowess. He's just someone that you can count on, and he is remarkable.
Consistency is a huge thing for Alexis Sanchez, and that's something that Arsenal needed this season, and they got in him, and now that Chile will want. How do you say it? Everyone says Chile? I say Chile. People are
America says Chile.
Chile.
It's Chile. It is Chile.
No, people back home call it Chile.
Chile.
Oh, you are a Latin American expert?
Chile.
No, but Chile is a great, delicious food. Chile is a country.
Chile.
How do you say Uruguay?
Uruguay.
United States.
United Kingdom. America. So last point to finish on, how is Uruguay going to basically play without their resident
I don't
biting
know
aside,
much. I know
unbelievable
there's
player.
no Suarez, and Cavani has a lot to prove.
He always has a lot to prove.
But I mean, their odds aren't terrible, and they're obviously a pretty good team, strong team. They're looking to repeat.
They want to retain it.
Don't ever count out a team who's trying to go back to back.
Yeah.
And what they haven't lost is that defensive prowess that they have. That just experience. Diego Godin he could go into any defense, I think, and just pull everyone together. He's such a leader, and I have such high respect for him as a player as well, and I think that he's essential.
They're going to be hard to beat, but I don't think they're going to make it into the semifinals. I don't put my money on them making it to the semifinals.
Yeah, I think Brazil. I think Argentina. I think Argentina are going to win it. I think Argentina-Colombia final is a good bet. To be
Argentina, Colombia, Chile, and Brazil.
Nice.
Those are my.
If they don't happen to meet each other beforehand.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I side with Temers.
Yeah.
All right, so who's going to win it?
Colombia.
Let's go with Lionel Messi.
Go with Messi.
Yeah.
Go on, Messi.
I'm wearing the jersey.
Yeah.
I should be saying Messi in Argentina.
Well, it's like, they're favored to win it. Messi looks unstoppable of recent.
Yeah.
The team is stacked. I don't know. Colombia's is higher in the world rankings, I believe. But
And we've
let's
totally
go with-
overlooked something as well. This is what's annoying about this when you're trying to narrow it
What,
down.
Mexico?
It's so
Was Carlos
impossible.
Tevez even in that top 10?
No.
Oh, and wait.
He's so amazing
Wait a
for
second.
Juventus this season.
I need to retract my prediction. This is so unpredictable. That's the thing with
Yeah.
Copa America, especially. I mean, most international tournaments are relatively unpredictable.
Well, you can put your money on England going out.
I take back my statement as well. I take Jamaica at 100 to 1.
You better put your money on that one.
Good money spent.
Definitely the best celebration.
But I feel like with now that you've said Tevez, and how could that have slipped our minds? And maybe this list was made before the Champions League final. But two Champions League final contenders, fresh off of knowing and feeling what it's like to win and participate in and take second place in a Champions League, one of the biggest tournaments in the world. That energy is just going to translate into what they're able to bring their national teams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and for Argentina, two players are more than that. Are there other Argentinians?
Well,
that were in
Mascherano.
Mascherano, thank you.
Yeah, Mascherano.
That's a big contribution to Copa America and knowing what it takes to be a champion.
All right. Well, there you have it. There's our predictions. We'll do another video on what we're going to talk about between the games that are coming up and give you guys all the information you need to prepare yourself for this Friday. But let us know in the comment section below any players on the list that we missed out that you think should be included for our players to watch in the Copa America in Chile that's coming up this Friday. Stay tuned to TYT Sports from Temris. Jason and Francis, come back again and subscribe. It's absolutely free.